We are going to be talking about sisterhood and friendship. And I can't think of three better women to have this conversation with me. And so I'm going to allow Will to sort of bring them on one by one. OMG. I bet y'all weren't expecting all of these beautiful faces. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Diane.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. So we have the amazing Tiffany Conyers. Tiffany is also a part of MHM, but she's also the lead for our MAM ministry, Mothers Assisting Mothers. And she's also a licensed clinician. She does so many things. She has many hats. And so Tiffany, tell people, hey.
Hey, y'all. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I was trying to figure out what color to wear because I was like, it's spring. Do I bring out the jungle blazer or do I bring out the pastel?
You know what I mean? But the pastel is working. And like Rob said, it
Yes.
definitely matches the pink in the back.
Yay! Yay! I wonder what are our friends wearing today? Because it's spring. Are you
It
wearing?
is. But let me introduce everyone else first
Okay,
before
I'm really excited about the color scheme.
That's okay. That's okay. The next person is everyone knows Kim at this point, the amazing Kim Smith. Yes, yes, yes. Kim
Hey,
also
everybody.
has some amazing things going on as well. She's the owner of Healthy Ball, is that right?
Yes.
Yes, and she's also the lead for our Expecting Miracles group. Am I saying that right? And am I right on that as well?
Yes.
Awesome. And so she'll be joining us today to have this conversation about cultivating friendship and sisterhood. And then, of course, we have the GOAT, the Rosalind Goodwin, aka Gabby Bowles' mama, aka all the things. Like she also serves on our board, and she is a trusted friend and mentor to so many people. When I was talking to her a couple of days ago, I was like, "Listen, you the godmother of friendship. So like, you just need to make sure you a part of this conversation." And so, it's such a blessing to have all three of these women a part of this discussion. So listen, if you have not had an opportunity to download the 10-day devotional that Pastor Marsha sent out a couple of weeks ago, it's actually on Instagram. I don't know if it's on Facebook, but if someone has, I don't know, a link or anything that they can post in the chat. But if you have not had the opportunity, there it is, Tiffany. If you have not had the opportunity to download that 10-day devotional, it is so good. It has reflection prompts. It has some really solid things to really take us through this kind of, this thing called friendship. And so we're not going to be able to touch on all the points, but I think it's so important that, because it's such a thing that I think women long for, but sometimes it's like a mystery. And I think it's really cool if we can kind of come together and not only just talk about what Pastor Marsha has shared with us, because she's always giving to us. She's always downloading so much information to us. And so this is another way of her doing this, because we know that the heart of SWATA is sisterhood, right?
Absolutely.
And so when we think about like sisterhood and all the things, we know again that SWATA was sort of birthed out of this hope for true friendship. And I think Pastor Marsha's done an amazing job with that. And so when you think about just friendship and sisterhood, and anybody can sort of just answer this, like, what are things that just come to mind? Like anything. When you think about friendship and sisterhood.
Two words come to mind for me: safety and just community. A safe space and community for sure.
I love it. Anybody else? What comes to mind when you think about sisterhood and friendship?
I agree. I think definitely like safety, authenticity is one that comes up for me. It's a place when I think of sisterhood, it really is a place where I really can be like no lashes.
Right.
Like breath stinking. You're like I could be all right, Kim. Don't do me like that.
Like, are you describing me when I came to your house yesterday?
No. But just the authenticity, being able to just be my true self and know that I'm covered, I'm cared for, that I'm accepted. Yeah, people are chiming in the chat. They are already saying some of those things. It's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think about.
Awesome. Yeah.
I think ride or die. I see. Yeah, like even if I'm wrong, like you gonna fight for me.
Come on.
You're gonna stick up for me, but then you're gonna correct me. But
Mhm.
you're willing to fight.
You're willing to fight. You
willing
might
to fight.
not know how to fight, but you're willing to fight.
You've never been in a fight, but I can talk, I can text like I can fight, and I'm gonna go beat up this person because they're messing with you.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we have, and I want you all to also chime in the chat. Like when you think of sisterhood, when you think of friendship, as we kind of have this discussion, think about things that actually come to mind. I actually had some stats, and I was reading up on some things regarding friendship. And then one of the articles that I said is actually called the Friendship Recession. And so apparently there's this sort of recession of friendship, and whether it's because of work, whether it's because of our own families, but we know that there's sort of this declining of being able to develop true friendship. And so we know that there's a need for this devotional, and we know that there's a need for this conversation. And so when you think about sisterhood, Rosalind, and when you think about friendship, is that the same thing? Like, does friendship shift into sisterhood? Do we need both? Like, what does that look like?
I think it starts with friendship. I don't think you get to sisterhood with bypassing friendship. You know, of course, you're showing yourself friendly, you're becoming friends. I think sisterhood takes it to another level of relatability, commonality. You know, we're both women, we may both be mothers, we may both be wives. That relatability kind of takes that friendship to another level. I also think that sisterhood requires a different level of vulnerability and reciprocity. That, you know, I heard this example some years ago, that just as there are examples of going from the outer courts to the inner courts to the holies of holies, our relationships also have those different types of levels. And it's not knocking friendship. Like friendship is amazing. As you mentioned, you know, they are hard to find. When you have a friend, a true friend that adds value to your life, that you can be around and talk, and they give you a laugh, they give you something, that is to be celebrated. And I don't think that everybody necessarily is ordained to be in that inner circle of your life. Some people just can't handle that, and they're good, great friends. And I've had to, you know, over the years, even, you know, in a recent relationship, just kind of had to assess, like, are you trying to force this into a sisterhood, or is it really just a great friendship? And one of the things that stood out to me, that I felt like I was being more vulnerable and sharing more, and then there was like this wall, and I'm like, okay, you're trying to force sisterhood when this really is a friendship, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a blessing. Thank God for this friendship, but this is not going to be anything more.
Yeah,
that's good.
So that's really, really good. So apparently there's some layers to this thing, right? Like, so, and I don't even think, I would imagine we don't always start off with friends. I think we call them acquaintances, or you know, we church friends. Is that a thing? Work friends.
Yeah, no, but you're right. There's layers. You know, when I think about even just the title of the devotional being cultivating, is a process. It is.
Sure, it is.
Time investment. There's also expectation of harvest and of some type of reward. When you cultivate something, there is an expectation that it will be something. Maybe you don't know exactly what that is, but cultivation is a process. And you can absolutely have an associate, you know, at your job that y'all are like besties at work.
Right. But you're not coming to my house.
Right. It's coincidental that we work at the same place.
It's a situational type of acquaintanceship or friendship. And there may be some more time we need to cultivate if it's going to morph or be something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think It's so good that you're saying that, because I think one of the really important parts of the devotional, and I'll read it because I thought it was really good, but it said godly friendship is not accidental. It's the same thing like you were saying, Tiffany, like it is cultivated, it's a process. It grows through love, honesty, grace, accountability, and then spiritual maturity. Like you got to have all those things to really
Yeah.
cultivate and develop a friendship. But again, so many women are longing for that. Like when I read the statistics, they said that the percentage of U.S. adults who report having no close friends has quadrupled since 1990. So we know that there's a gap there. So why is it so hard for so many women to really cultivate and develop these friendships? What do y'all think? Why is it challenging?
I know Kim got something to say. I was just looking at your mouth.
Yeah, I have a thought on it, because while that stat is happening at the same time, the loneliness epidemic is picking up.
Yep.
Right.
In fact, the World
Mm.
Health Organization says 1 in 6 people are suffering, and it leads to actually early early deaths. Actually, so
Yeah.
it's at the same time, and I almost wonder. And I can speak to maybe the Western version of it, what's happening in America. I feel like we're so busy lifing and weathering storms that we don't recognize the value of community. And
Yeah.
it takes time to cultivate. I
Yeah.
feel as though if you haven't healed completely from maybe prior disappointments in
Mhm.
relationships or sisterhoods before, you take that same energy, you take you everywhere.
Mhm.
And too many people say, well, I'm good, I don't need anybody. Well, no, you do.
Yeah.
You do. So you have to be willing to also heal completely and work on yourself
Mhm.
before you can actually offer the necessary love and commitment to friendship. So I feel like it's part of that, and there's a struggle that people are having. And then as a result, there's this spike in the loneliness epidemic that
Mhm.
is really a struggle. So I do think part of it is people don't understanding the value of what that
Mhm.
is for their livelihood, their physical body and spiritual body, but
Yeah.
then also recognizing what it takes and being willing to do the work first within themselves.
That's
Oh, so
so
good.
good. That's
Mhm.
so
I
good.
was gonna say the accountability part of the devotional is probably the thing we struggle with the most, as well as taking the time to cultivate. But the accountability part and the reciprocity, all of that requires vulnerability.
Mhm.
And if you have
Mhm.
not done the inner work to get at a place that you feel strong enough within yourself, and I don't want to use the word strong, but secure enough in yourself that you can be vulnerable with someone else, and that doesn't diminish who you are. If you've not done that inner work, people aren't willing to share. And I think that's kind of what I was running up against with the relationship that I referenced before, is just like
Sure.
this wall. I'm just like, what's going on right here? But
Mhm.
they haven't done the inner work to share. And, it's not going to be but so long that you're sharing and bearing your soul and ain't nobody giving you nothing back, that you'll be
Right.
like, okay, wait a minute. I don't feel like this is a safe place. If
Yeah.
I'm giving and you're just taking, you're not giving anything back. There's no reciprocity. So this can't go any further than friendship.
Mm, that's good. So I would imagine, so not sharing, not having that sense of reciprocity, not being accountable, those are all sort of things that are maybe like red flags. Like if I'm sharing and I'm giving myself, and not only myself, like I'm giving up time and doing all the things. And so like are there other sort of like red flags or things that, like especially at our age, I think all of us are over 40 at this point, and so we've probably evolved ourselves as friends. But like are there things that maybe are red flags or things that are kind of turn offs, like because we are turned off in like relationships, so I would imagine even for friendships there are some so there are some things that we're like, I don't know about that, that feels a
Mhm.
little off. What are some of those things?
I I think about just kind of the always spinning a conversation about themselves. Like you start off talking about this, and then there's a yeah, that's cool, and I did this too, and like it's a weird kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
are we one and up each other? Like what's
Mm-hmm.
going on here? Which also you mentioned us being, in our 40s and doing our things and above
You know,
40, but just also this sense of maturity. And you can kind of tell when people may be responding with their 13-year-old self and
sure.
how they dealt with friends, like they haven't matured yet in having an accountability conversation. Like, when you said that to me, I kind of felt a certain kind of way. And I know that's not your intent. I just wanted to share because I don't want any barriers in us connecting. And the way they respond to that could be a red flag, when you're having to share what they've done or what they said and their responses doesn't give you a sense of like there could be a mature conversation about this. That is, for me, a red flag.
Okay.
That we respond to each other.
Yeah. So sort of that one-upping you all the time, or centering yourself in conversations and not being a listener. What are some other things that people are like that really kind of causes you not to really develop those friendships? Because sometimes people start off good, and then once you kind of get into it, you start seeing some things, and you're like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, there's a situation I'm laughing because both Tiffany and Roz was like, she ain't your friend. She is not your friend. Open your eyes.
Marquee sign. Billboard. That is not your friend.
They were not happy. No, I mean, I think it's when someone, a red flag certainly is if someone is constantly wanting to belittle you and dim your light, or is the jokes become intentional. The jokes or the comments, there's never it's hard to praise and show respect. And you, especially if you dismiss it as, oh, they didn't mean that, because you have a version of the friendship you've already married to in your head, but it never matches reality. That is really a red flag. And sometimes you need a true friend to say, hey, I already took my hoops off. What is this? What is happening?
It's so good.
So yeah, it's so being like constantly pressing down or finding joy in their sorrow. That is a red flag.
Absolutely. That's good.
Yeah. I would imagine too, like, so we have not necessarily showing up for each other, sort of one-upping, trying to dim your light or not celebrating you. I know 1 Corinthians says that do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. And it also erodes trust. And so many of you mentioned, I think that was maybe you, Tiffany, sort of like you may not have matured from some of those like little girl days. I don't know if you guys have read, it's like a little curriculum. It's called the Ophelia Project. And they talk a lot about relational aggression in Black girls. And so sometimes the examples that we see sort of growing up may not have been the best examples of friendship, or we sort of struggle with that. Like, what was your first example of a really good friendship? Was it with yourself? Was it with your mom? Was it with your auntie? Like, what do you all remember about friendships growing up? Because I would imagine, like, before, like, we didn't have phones, and so we had phones, but they weren't like.
I was about to say, I am not.
I mean, we didn't have like everything wasn't like posted. Like everything wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like posted on social media. I don't know about y'all, but my first social media account was my junior year in college. It was
that was me too. I didn't have a phone or social media to college.
Yeah. So there was a lot of more intimate time spent developing friendships when we were younger. But like, what was your first example? Did your mom have good friendships? Was she maybe a loner? Like, what was your first example of quality friendship?
Man, this is a really good question. I never thought about it, but yeah, my mom had great friends, and as she's getting older, and such as happens, she's losing some of those friends to just age and death. But my mom, they carpooled. A lot. So I remember that there might have been my mom was in education for 49 years. So it might've been teachers' aides that were a couple miles up the road, or assistant teachers, or, other teachers. We carpooled together. I don't know how all of us got in that car. Now I'm thinking about it. No, we didn't have on no seatbelts. What the world? Okay. I'll deal with that later. But those types of relationships through carpooling, riding, and picking each other up, and those type things, and being there for each other's children, regardless of what was going on, and still today. I mean, like if something's going on, if Gabby has something that's close by, like we're calling folks, and Mama's calling folks. Well, so and so is close by. But yeah, I saw examples there that still are there today. And then, I had a 7-Up posse through middle, and we two
that, Roz?
We had to come up with a cool name. There's 7 of us, the 7-Up posse. We dressed like whatever the overalls with one of the strips down.
I love it.
With the body shirts on. Listen, I got pictures. I can tell you, Mika Bell was one of the originators. But in that sense, we found commonality in relationship. Yeah. We wear jerseys on field day. We had a tent. Like we would just team too much.
Yeah.
But if somebody tried to step at either one of us, and we had no history of fighting, we acted like we could fight though. We were ready to throw hands if somebody messed with one of them. So that type of relationship, through grade school, but then our interests changed. Now I maintained my relationship with Mika, of course, until her death. But, once, some went to college, some didn't, and some moved here. And, we still try to pull those girls together, but it's just a little bit more difficult now that we've got different things going, and we didn't keep it going. You have to, you have to continue to cultivate. It's not just something that you just stay on. Yeah. 7-Up posse. Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Now I want to see pictures. You don't have to
listen. I got finger wave. Listen, y'all not ready.
Are they the ocean waves or the finger
Y'all are not ready. Y'all not ready for them.
Listen, I was in middle school. We had our ponytails, and we had the fan ponytails. Nope, y'all didn't have the fan ponytails.
Scrunchies, French rolls. Listen, all 5 different hairstyles on one head, like that.
Y'all had hair.
Crunchy, crispy hair. Crunchy, crispy finger waves and scrunchies on one side and French roll in the back.
Can I tell y'all something? When I didn't have that, so my mom gave me a Jerry curl.
Oh, okay. I had one of those too. It's okay.
But the Jerry curl was never wet. You know how Jerry curl is supposed to be like what? Like always dry. Like it was the driest Jerry curl I've ever had. But I got picked on for that Jerry curl too. But either way, that's another story. But how do we get on Jerry curls?
I don't know.
Anyway,
your friends could have let you have some Jerry curl juice. They could. They were not your friends.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we had some examples of some really solid friendships. Maybe some of us didn't, but we had some examples of that. And we've even had like some little posses, 7-Up crew. We had all the things. One of the very first day of the devotional talks about the foundation of friendship. And of course, when we think about the foundation of friendship, we know that it transitions into and how it transitions from loving from the heart. And so I was on social media the other day, and Kim, I saw an amazing display of love demonstrated to you. And so I don't know if Will has that picture, but are you able to show that picture, Will? Does he have it? Yes, look at y'all. What
pretty
full picture of some amazing, powerful women. Right. And I know all of you that's in this picture. And Kim, you're in the middle, just being a baddie. But this is a clear demonstration of love, which talks about the foundation of friendship. So tell me, number one, what was happening here? I know it says TEDx in the back. So tell us a little bit about that. And then, like, what does this picture mean to you?
Absolutely. Well, first, I must say, that Tiffany was coming in with flowers indisposed, so she missed that picture too. But I'll talk about this particular set of women as well. So first, the TEDx. I remember in the chat group, so in our house, Terrell calls this the Roz group. He was like,
I
what
believe
group
it.
chat is that? Who you texting? Is this the Roz group? And I hope, I don't know if Roz, if you want me to talk about the history of this, how it's
Oh, you can.
okay, yeah.
You can take the picture
So
down, Will.
let me talk about that first, and then we'll talk about the event. But after George Floyd died,
Mhm.
it was a challenging time for the world, but in particular, women who served in leadership where you didn't feel a place of safety, women raising Black boys in a country where it felt like we were still in the 1950s. We needed a place of, I would say, almost sanctuary.
Mhm.
Roz reached out to each of us, and Adrian's not in this picture, but she reached out to each of us who are loosely connected and say, hey, we need to let's convene in this chat and talk.
Mhm.
Is this proof yet to Mike that we're friends? We'll see. That's a whole nother conversation. But and it started with a place of safety. It really started with addressing adversity. We're each going through different things, and
Mhm.
we're able to kind of come and slowly share more vulnerability, the Zoom calls on just processing life in a way where you didn't have a place to process it. It was really wonderful, and it's been going on to the point where it's come to moments like this, and there are a lot of pictures like this, and somebody else is standing in the middle. So this picture, the Roz circle, as Terrell calls it, the Roz group, the sister circle reflects someone deciding we need community, let's cultivate it.
Mm.
And she sought that out, and we didn't know how much we would need it until we progressed, like transitioning out of my executive role, transitioning, getting a deadline to launch a company.
Mhm.
She gave me a 6-month deadline, and I was so terrified that I launched it in 30 days.
Wow.
Stephanie's company birthed out. So much is birthed out of the group. So the reason I've been at the TEDx is because really of that cultivation that started with Roz.
Mhm.
So someone dropped in the group chat, oh, somebody should apply for this. And I was thinking, there's no way I would get I wouldn't get accepted, because I was declined so many times from TEDx. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get accepted. And they're like, no, you're gonna apply. I was like, oh. When you say, even if you breathe, they're like, are you gonna do this? I know what's in you. And so I applied, I interviewed, and I was accepted. So this picture is a moment of excitement, of joy, because I was able to get on stage and share something very vulnerable for me.
Mhm.
And the title of my talk was Reclaiming America's Birth Story.
Wow.
And to have, friends and loved ones in the audience that when we're there, like Tiffany was in the room, right, with Lauren. And to have, Amber was in the room too with Lauren. So to have friends there that remember the moments and remember your healing process
Yeah.
was just a big moment. It's different from just colleagues showing up and you're like, oh, this is a nice picture. It represents love. It represents safety. It represents protection, because
Mm.
they don't play. We are saved and we have the anointing of God. Okay. Can I say that?
Mm.
But yeah, they don't play. So I so appreciate it. And it's so colorful. It's so pretty. I love all the colors.
It's a beautiful picture.
But there's so many pictures like this with somebody else in the center, which I think is really beautiful. So
Yeah. So it was a day of celebration for you, and like you said, like you've gone to other events where you were celebrating someone else, and so it's definitely a beautiful display. And congratulations on speaking at a TEDx. That's amazing. Um, I'm like, is there an application? Like, how do you apply? I'm just playing.
they're
Like,
gonna do it every year. Oh yeah, we need
Absolutely.
all of us on that stage.
yeah.
Listen, and that was the text thread. It was like, and I said it. Everybody in this group chat
Yeah.
can do a TEDx talk.
Sure.
And we just started like going down the line. You could talk about this, you could talk, because I didn't want anybody to feel like this was beyond them. If that was a goal that they had, you can absolutely do that. And that's the power of sisterhood. I'm pushing you. That's accountability, that you are receptive to it, to say that, okay, wow, my sister believes that I can do this. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to give you a deadline, and you're going to get, I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to check in with you and be like, did you do it? And, if you get it, oh my God, we're going to celebrate. We're going all out, and we're going to be there right there with you.
That is beautiful. And I know, like, again, I keep saying that so many women long for that and want that, but it took, Rosalind, you seeing that there was a need, that there was a gap. And you pointed out, like, these are sisters that I want to be in community with. And so you brought these women together. And it's been going ever since. Tiffany, did you want to say something?
I do. I want to just acknowledge the courage it takes to reach out and say, hey, you be my friend.
Right.
Can you talk to me? Can you talk to me, be my friend? Because that does mean that they're on the other side of that. Could be a, nah, I'm good. Or, you not getting that need met with them. But there is something powerful about, having the courage or the unction to say, hey, I think, could we go out for coffee? I would love to just sit and chat with you, or to build and start that group chat, or connect in that way. So I just want to give Roz some kudos, and for all of the women who are putting themselves out there a little bit,
right?
To say, hey, will you be my friend? Please don't say it like that, because they're gonna run. But
and I think that's so, like, what Roz did was, she didn't like just like reach out and be like, I need something, because a lot of times women, like, I think it's such a skill in developing friendships that sometimes women don't necessarily know how to do that. And so it wasn't like you were asking for anything. You saw something that you all shared in common, and you brought them together to have a conversation. You didn't want anything from anybody at that time, but you were just bringing people together. And I think a lot of times women don't necessarily always have the skill to do that. And almost, how they have like relationship coaches? I feel like we need friendship coaches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't think people are really taught how to really develop and cultivate friendship. Like, it's a skill to it.
And the expectation wasn't necessarily that 6+ years later that we'd be a lifeline for each other. That was God putting the super on the effort to reach out. I really thought it may just be a conversation, because I was having these individual conversations with them about some of the same things. And I'm just like, wow, maybe we should just talk. At that time, the world is shut down. It's a Zoom, but it really evolved. I mean, like, we may get to this later, but like, there's no way I could have survived what came into my life like a year and a half after that first text, without this circle. Like, me finding my best friend, like I wouldn't have made it. Like, there's no way. So I know God was in the initial text, and he knew I would need it later. So, and so much has happened, as Kim, alluded to, within that group of women, that we have needed each other. That we wouldn't have been able to make it for what was happening. But God knew what was going to happen in 2021, 2022, 2023. He knew when I was going to get fired. I mean, he knew all of that. And I had a circle already around me.
Wow.
Yeah. And if I can, you're talking about good memories of friendships. I immediately remember as a young girl, I felt very alone. I felt I didn't have very close friends as a child. Like, I had a lot of cousins, but I was in the middle, and I had younger, like, sisters, younger cousins, and I had older sisters and older cousins. So I played a lot by myself. I was alone a lot, around a lot of adults, but it wasn't like a friend. My mom's not my friend. And I remember, and then of course, getting older, you navigate. But I remember being very, like, I was fumbling in the dark for many years of how do I navigate friendships, because I generally didn't have close friends. Even my really good friend from kindergarten, we went to different schools, so I didn't really see her again until high school. So I remember just fumbling processing death with someone that lost. And I didn't know what to say, how to show up, people processing different things. I didn't have that. So what you said in terms of having help is needed. But what I appreciate too about as I've gotten older, just the amount of grace that people, my sister friends, you know, have given me personally, unknowingly, that I'm still learning this, you know, in ways, and you can get caught up and busy with life. But I do think you have to take the pride off and recognize this is something that I wasn't raised with, just a bestie. I didn't have that.
Right.
So I watched others have that. So with this circle, I also see grace. I see grace of allowing people to fumble through relationships because, you know, maybe some learned and some didn't.
Sure.
And, you know, the respect and the cheers and just watching it. So me observing the chat has been like a master class too.
Wow.
To be quite frank, it has been a master class for me. I'm like, I don't get a bill for this, but I'm taking notes. You know, it's a big deal because, you know, learning how to show up. No one teaches you that.
Yeah.
And we assume people know how to show up. And I don't know why we assume that. But I really think there's something to giving people grace enough to learn and pulling somebody aside to say, I know you love us, but I need to show you how I need you to show up. Because they may genuinely not know or not feel safe to even say that this is or realize, oh, this is a barrier, if that makes sense, if they haven't, you know, done the work and reflected. But I just want to offer that because this has been, you know, that circle has been so significant for all of our lives. And I feel like all of us have grown individually in knowing who we are and becoming, but also knowing how to, like Day 2 says, love from the heart in a way that's consistent and genuine and all the things that you need. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim. That's got all warm and fuzzy just now. I did. So beautiful. I know. And so, like, if you were to look at that picture, everyone is doing so well in their own right. Like, I think everyone at this point sort of know the stories of everyone in that picture. And it's so easy for envy or jealousy to sort of creep in. So how do you create a space where it's not competitive, where you feel like you have to, again, Tiffany, like you said, one up the other person? How do you avoid that? How do you maintain that spirit of cheer and celebration?
I think it's still, and I'm gonna say this, like, this is my word of the day, is vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, so as much as we're celebrating the highs of Kim, she didn't just speak at TEDx, she crushed TEDx. Okay. Okay. Like, lit up the stage. Like, there was no stage left after she got off. Okay.
So, you don't know.
You know, but it's also the place where I could, you know, I guess, 2 years ago, and I was secretly miserable every birthday after 2021, like struggling. Nobody knew it but my immediate family, and they would be doing all of these wonderful things for me, and I'd smile, and then I'd just be crying most of the day. The next day I was fine, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I couldn't dance it off. I couldn't shout it off. I couldn't. And then 2 years ago, God was like, I need you to share this with the circle. You need them to cover you in prayer about this, because you cannot continue this way. So when I shared it with them, of course, I knew they were praying. They challenged me to go back to therapy. I, of course, had been in grief counseling. It was like, you probably need to go back to therapy to deal with this. And I got strategies in that one session that changed my birthdays forever. So I had my first truly happy birthday in 2024.
Wow.
But I had to spend some time with myself in therapy to realize that I had this sick, twisted, evil guilt for living on my birthday. You know, but I'm expecting to be triggered on my best friend's, you know, my late best friend's birthday or the anniversary of the death or whatever. So I wasn't expecting this ambush on my birthday. But until I confessed that and was that vulnerable. So, you know, as much as we're celebrating Gabby getting a book deal, or they're being with us when we're opening ribbons. Like everybody on the outside sees all the celebration.
Yeah.
We're able to cheer each other on because in the circle, they know that I share my lowest points too.
Yeah.
So because of that level of vulnerability, we absolutely can share because we're with each other in the low. We can celebrate each other in the high.
Yeah. That's good. So it's not just a matter of just sharing all the highs, but
Yeah.
finding that safe place where you can, like, I really have this going on. I need y'all to be in prayer with me about it. Wow.
And Dinah, if you try to hide, Roz will show up. She'll pull up on you.
Listen,
She'll
you
drive
got to
to
have
your
a
house.
certified pull upper in your group.
Sounds
Tiffany
like
got to pull up.
I'll come find you. I can document it when you hadn't loved nothing in the chat. Like, I ain't seen nothing from so and so. Where she at?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally, if she ain't responding in the group, I'm individual. I'm gonna keep calling you till you answer the phone.
I love that. I love
Like,
that.
but that's the love of God. Like there's a lost sheep. He's dropping everything to go find it. Like that is the type of friend and sister I want to be. That totally reflects the love of God. Like I know from experience or just even some shortcomings in my own relationships that I truly pray to be that Christ-like friend and sister in somebody else's life. Because I know, 5 years after Mika going on to be with the Lord, when you have a true friendship and a true sisterhood, like it lasts beyond death.
Yeah.
Like I literally I can be in therapy and discussing something, and they can be like, "What would Mika say?" And I know exactly what she would say because we cultivated such a pure, true friendship that I can hear her. Like I know what she would say if she was here, and that is the type of relationship that I want to have with my sisters.
Mm. Oh man, which I think sort of really sort of puts us into this next conversation. I know day 7 really talks about adversity and difficult seasons. And I think all 3 of you have shared at some point your own stories publicly about loss. And so having that sort of sisterhood and the friendship, so where people can be that soft landing for you. Roz, you sort of talked about how people kind of showed up for you, especially during the loss of your really good friend, Mika Bell. But Tiffany or Kim, like, how did your friends show up for you when there was loss or there was adversity?
In my scenario, our loss started before I actually experienced the natural death of our son. So, for many of you, I may not know, my husband and I, we have 4 babies, and 3 of them on this side of heaven. And we have an angel baby named Miles that was given a prognosis of an incompatible with life condition, basically meaning you're pregnant with him, but he may not live long outside of your womb. And so it was literally when I got the phone call of the possibility that my friend showed up. It was a literal, I'm on the phone with the people and I'm texting my friends, my sisters, to say, hey, if you can, I just need you to pray. I'm having a conversation with the genetic counseling office about our baby. And they both, everybody that I sent this to responded. So that is a moment where I can't acknowledge like how they were there, at the natural passing away of our son, but actually they were there to help literally walk us through what was really a very hard scenario to have to be alive with death.
Yeah.
And so that is where where I really like need to highlight that was really friends that were really just sisters. It was like God sent the people I needed in my life at that time. And so yeah, that I don't know if that answered your question, but I just need to, it started there. It really started there. It started with prayers. It started with community. It started with being available probably later than they would normally be available. It started with check-ins because we often, have a tendency to isolate when you really are maybe going through something really tough. The enemy really wants you like, they tired of hearing your story. Just stop texting them. Just deal with it on your own. So you find yourself just like maybe becoming a recluse, being very, I'm a
Yeah.
And so friends, sisters are like, what's up? Where you at? What you doing? They not just pull up on you naturally and probably show up at your house, but they also will show up in your direct messages. They probably know how to reach your spouse and your partner and your mama. Hey, when the last time you talked to Tiffany? Like it's a rally, and we
Oh yeah,
we're creating an intervention, and we're reading letters. Dear Tiffany, when you act like that, and after this, we would like for you to go to, they are plotting for your wellness.
Wow.
And that was what would happen throughout that pregnancy and that birth, and even the grieving process after we got to meet our sweet baby, and then also usher him back to heaven with his heavenly father and his uncle and all the different, family members that are already there. So my sister showed up in that way, and they also continue to show up, and I'm grateful for it, for their friendship.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I'm just soaking it in myself. Because I think Tiffany, you hit on something. I think when you go through hard things, I know I tend to withdraw or sort of try to figure it out for myself. I think I call it the cape syndrome, where we keep our capes on and we don't know when to take it off. But it sounds like that sisterhood is a place where the capes aren't needed. Like, you don't have to wear your superwoman costume in this space. You can be vulnerable. You can say the hard things. We can have the hard conversations, and you can say it as many times as you want.
Absolutely.
Like, we don't get tired of your story. And so I think it's just sort of leaning into that. I think being a sister and being a friend also means that you have to have some emotional capacity for hard things.
That's good.
And oftentimes, because of our own things, our own stories, our unresolved things, we oftentimes don't have that emotional capacity. So I love, 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 love all of the things that you all are saying. And I know we're sort of a little bit over time, but I do want to sort of mention this. You all are very busy. Like, you all have personal things, your own families, your own children, your own businesses. Like, how do you all make the time to do that? I know you all mentioned the chat. You mentioned just sort of coming together when there are events, but like, how do you maintain sort of that professional, family, and friend responsibilities all? Like, how do you do that? Is that necessary?
No, it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Depending on how many people are in your group, sometimes, we hadn't made officers, but and it almost needs to be, you're the certified pull up person, you're the certified looking at the school calendars and be like, ooh, the kids are in school and this is a holiday. So, Elise is that for us. She's just like, I'm looking at the school calendar and it looks like I've got this block of time. I'm going to set a reservation, and whoever can come can come. Now, it doesn't mean that if everybody can't come, we can't come, but there has been a gathering. And, so you have someone who's trying to get us together on, a pretty consistent basis. And it may be lunch based off of our lives. Dinner probably just might not work. So it may be that we're finding a central location where everybody can just come for lunch for the moment that they can. The last one we had, I was there for like 10 minutes and I spoke, I gave everybody a hug, and then I had to leave, but I showed my face. So I think, someone needs to take that responsibility to make sure that we are getting together. It does help when, we are in the same church and there's certain events that we're all going to be at, and, we can, plan things around that. We've had conferences and been like, okay, after this is over, after SWATA, let's get it together for whatever, because we know we're all going to be in that spot. But yeah, the chat and just working each other into our lives. We went to TEDx. Mike had a show at Harbison. all the sisters was at the show, so we work it in, and it's a priority when we're scheduling other things too.
Mm-hmm. I would say being creative is going to be key, and really being upfront with your sisters, with your friends about the season of their life. And if they're close enough, they probably already know that
Right.
this season I'm in school, I'm managing three, folks and their calendars, and they play all the sports. Like, why are they playing all the sports? We signed them up. That's why. But they know that. Or if they know that you are caring now for your parents or your grandparents, they're close enough to know that. I do have some friends that I call very near and dear to me, and my sisters that aren't at my church, that we find ways to have meeting lunches on the Zoom. Like, we're like,
Zoom, yes.
meet me at 7 a.m. And we're gonna have coffee together, and we just meet on the Zoom and catch up. But we also very aware that I'm not gonna be a part of your in and out of your week.
Yeah.
But I'm always a text away, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to say, "Oh, I can't wait to chat about this later," and keep it moving because I'm in the middle of a meeting. Or, like there's you've got to be super intentional, creative, and honest with yourself and your sister about what we can offer each other right now, and how much you mean to them, and how much you admire, and their relationship matters. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Kim, you got anything? I feel like you got something.
I was like, amen, amen to all of it. No, I do think that it's a decision too. So for example, for me, I can tell, similar to like your family, I can tell when I'm starting to travel too much to taper back. So I've been tapering things back. I've been saying no more, to make sure that my priorities, what I say are my priorities, are really my priorities, like with my family, for example. And so that helps me to have the mental capacity to think beyond my front porch a little bit. Although I got a lot on my front porch with these Smith boys. They got a lot going on. I'll be at a tournament tomorrow, a basketball tournament tomorrow, with my oldest. But I agree, with Tiffany in terms of blending it in and having the grace to pick up. I mean, Danielle, who I was alluding to earlier, I've known her since kindergarten. She's at all the things. She was at the summit. She's at all the things. And, but she of course lives in North Carolina. So, but when I'm there, I'll pop in, even if it's just for like 10 minutes, and just to sit on her couch, watch her fuss at a dog, talk to the kids, and then I got to get back on the highway to go back to South Carolina. And it's like those little things, but it doesn't feel like we've lost, that connection, if that makes sense, because life is just she's so busy. I mean, she's so busy, as an educator. Her husband's an educator. Her kids are in sports. All the things. Taking care of, aging parents, the things that we're all going through. But I feel like in any friendship, you blend, and give each other grace. And, but I also truly believe that, you have to kind of go into friendships in general to make that work. You have to go in with a heart to give first versus take. Because you can't really do well in a relationship in a deficit. So I feel as though if you don't have that deficit that only God can fill, you'll go in giving, checking in or loving, that will naturally be reciprocated. That's what it should work like. But if you need constant attention, constant taking, there's something else bigger that you need that goes far beyond the friendship, if that makes sense. And it's, and maybe requires even more alone time with God, for you to get that cup filled truly.
Right.
So I at least wanted to offer that, because there are, friends that are, I mean, we're all busy, so we can't be high maintenance, but there are, I'm sure, friends, I don't have them, that, are considered, high maintenance because they need a lot. It's because they need to be filled through something that a human can't give them anyway. So I feel as though we have to at least acknowledge that, blend it, as you can, show it with love, give first, and give each other grace when life just gets super busy. And if you're too busy, then expect to be pulled up on.
Somebody needs to be the certified pull-upper.
Those are my summaries.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love
You're
it.
not that busy for 34 days.
Right. Somebody pull it up. I love it.
Or fly up.
Fly up. One of the two.
Get on the plane.
One of the two. We send in a neighbor, knock on the door, tell her.
Absolutely. I got insurgents. Okay. I know how to get to you. If I
Yes. I think also, I think we got to pray, especially for those people who don't have this, right? I've been really blessed to develop friendships in just about every area that I've been in, whether it was a teacher, whether it was high school. I've sort of developed and kept some of those friends along the way. And the same thing for Right Direction. I have a little small group of people that I love dearly, and we don't mind pulling up either. But I think so much of that, I had to pray for friendship because I realized, like, just like you would pray for your wealth, or just like you would pray for a husband or a good marriage or your children, I think you also have to pray for the development of friendship and allow God to send those people to you. And I don't think that we are as intentional sometimes as we've already said. And so just being in prayer, like, ask God, send me somebody. Send somebody that's going to mesh really well with my personality, because personalities don't always mesh.
Yeah. And you can't be changing yourself for a friendship. Sometimes people do that because they think that I need to be something different to fit into this friendship sisterhood. You may be just trying to put a square peg into a round hole. That just ain't the hole for you. That's not the relationship. It shouldn't require you to show up as something other than yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And people recognize it too, especially people who've done the work. Like, you recognize, like, I don't think that you're being yourself. All right. So listen, this was really, really good conversation, but I do not want to outstay our welcome and get in trouble. All right. So if you had to say one thing that we can leave with the sisters in the sisterhood, what would it be? Either a lesson that you've learned or just something that they can take with them.
I will say that the ultimate friend is God, Jesus, and so, if you're really struggling, that's probably where you can go first, because he's like our big brother. We can get intel and insight, and he actually will share with you how to go build those and cultivate those friendships and give you those nudges to reach out to that person. So I would say, like, really lean into our relationship with the one who loved us before we even knew ourselves. God and Jesus.
Thank you, Tiffany.
That's so good. I would also, I would say to lean into your courage and not be afraid to love hard, right? Not be afraid to love hard. So it's, we all need that. We all really desire that. So be that for somebody else.
So good. I saw in some of the comments, there's, some people have had past breaches of trust and trauma with friendship. And I know we'll pray about that before we leave. And it may be for different reasons. I would just encourage you to open yourself up again as God directs you to friendship. Be open to what God brings into your life. I remember going through a period of time, particularly grieving my best friend of 37 years that lost due to COVID, of like, man, I don't want to be close to nobody else. Like, this is horrible. Like, so if I don't be close to anybody, I don't have to deal with anything that feels like this again. I mean, it sounds weird, but I really struggled with that. So I found myself building walls just based off of pain because I was afraid to open myself up to another type of relationship or friendship where I would let someone come in and I'd be vulnerable with, because I didn't want to feel that type of pain of loss again. So it's almost been recently that I've been able to evolve to a place that, wow, like some people never find the type of friendship that I had with Mika Bell. Like it was such a blessing that it even goes beyond her physical earthly being, like right here. Like, wouldn't you want to experience that, continue to experience that, and offer that to someone else? So, just open yourself up um, to sisterhood. Open yourself up to friendship first, and then open yourself up to sisterhood as God directs you. And seriously, this is a matter of prayer about who and it may not be 5 people, it may be one person. It may just be 2 people, I don't know, but God will direct you. He cares about what you care about. If you truly commit this to prayer, he'll direct you to who that is if you're open to that relationship.
Y'all, this was so good.
Oh my goodness.
Part 2, like Pastor Marsha, we with her in it. Like we need to.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is so needed and such a rich conversation. Because again, we talk about friendship, and I think we talk about, just kind of the surface of it, but I think we went to some really, really important places. And thank you so much, Rosalind, for talking about why people are sometimes afraid to sort of develop and go deeper into friendships, because there is past hurt, there is betrayal, right? And there are things that sort of hinder that. And so if we had some more time, we would definitely get into the thick of things. But in the chat, y'all, just in how are y'all feeling? One word to really describe today's conversation with Kim, Tiffany, and Roz. Did y'all know that yellow represents friendship? Love yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. Yeah, I know it represents friendship.
I love it.
I know. So those of you who are wanting and needing or just have true friendship, drop some yellow hearts in the chat. Like drop some yellow hearts in the chat for maybe people who are longing for friendship. Um, uh, yes, just kind of reading the chat here. Such an amazing segment. Thank you.